Hello there guys, Daniel Charles back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe on this Wednesday. Getting closer to Christmas, but we do have more injury news regarding Chelsea. Another player going down with a problem, this time Wesley Fofana, who had just returned from injury after suffering a knee problem in October against AC Milan. We're going to get into that. We'll also look at that game behind closed doors against Friendly, the scoreline, who was involved, the players that featured, how Chelsea's preparations are going, obviously dented by injury problems too. The second big story today regards Christopher Vivell finally being announced and confirmed by Chelsea as a new technical director. Before we get into any of that good stuff, you know by now, hit that like button, really does help new people find the channel. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads on the channel heading into 2023, where we're looking to hit that landmark on the channel of 30k subscribers. Let's get into the news. Wesley Fofana, as you can see here, Nazar Kinsella and several reports. I think Felix Johnson was actually the first one to break this story. Simon Phillips maybe as well, and then Adam Newsom was covering it. Everyone was kind of covering it last night, just to ruin our evenings and dampen them a bit after it seemed like these players were coming back for Chelsea. Fofana is set for scan as Chelsea suffer injury scare in the friendly win over Brentford. Fofana came off in the game, and despite stepping up his recovery in recent weeks, it looks like he's going to be out for potentially a month. That's what Fabrizio Romano tweeted today. It could be 3 to 4 weeks, which is not serious, but apparently he won't obviously now be in contention for that Bournemouth game to return to the pitch. For Fofana, I think the biggest concern with this is it's apparently the same problem, knee problem. That's a massive concern, I'm sure, for Chelsea, for the medical team, for the player himself, who apparently was obviously upset. He did go, I think, on Instagram last night and say that, you know, he wants to recover quicker and hopes to come back stronger, which is good to have. He needs to have that mentality, but it's such a big frustration, not only because of the narrative and the trend of Chelsea having a lot of injuries this season, but also for the player himself. Fofana signed for a big fee, big reputation, a big expectation and hope for Chelsea, giving him a 7-year contract, which sure looks good when you're getting, you know, he doesn't have to produce right now. There is a long-term feeling with Fofana that he is going to be a massive player for Chelsea, hopefully in the coming years. But we want to see him, and I particularly Reece James, if you remember the videos I made at the time Chelsea were going in for Fofana. That was a big part of, for me, was seeing that right side of defence having more mobility and the quality as a defender that Fofana can bring to Chelsea. And unfortunately it's been cut short a little bit this season, but hopefully he can return. Another injury story, just quickly, Amanda Broya, obviously that season-ending ligament injury. His surgery apparently has gone well, according to The Athletic and other sources, which is good. Hopefully he can start that recovery, but we know his season has officially ended, which is such a shame. But I think it was right to cover that on the video today. Let's move back to that report from Nazar Kinsella, because there was information around the friendly against Brentford, which took place behind closed doors at Cobham. 5-1 was the scoreline, Chelsea winning quite convincingly on Tuesday. Apparently it was played over 3 periods of 45 minutes each, which was a little bit different, with Kai Havertz scoring a hat-trick in the game. Apparently a mixture of academy players and those who were involved at the World Cup featured for Chelsea. The Mateo Kovacic and Hakim Ziyech have not yet joined up after their exploits in Qatar. Not that surprising given how far they went. They went the furthest of any Chelsea players, so hopefully they'll be back maybe after the Bournemouth game, given how quickly the players have been returning. It's good, and I think for what I've heard about maybe Dion Rankin, apparently impressed as well. Dennis Zakaria scored, who just before the World Cup showed that, you know, I think a little bit of excitement against Dynamo Zagreb. He scored that game on his full Chelsea debut, which is brilliant. So I find it intriguing, you know, with these injury problems that Chelsea continually have, no matter where they are, whether we're playing in Abu Dhabi, whether we're playing at Newcastle, AC Milan, it doesn't matter where it is, or on our own training pitch, we're going to continue to get injuries. And also with the increased demands of this season in what is such a unique campaign with the World Cup, with the post moments and all of that stuff, and the competitions that Chelsea are in, it's finding those fringe players and finding those players who are going to come back in this period for Chelsea and really perform, maybe surprise a few people. And hopefully Zakaria could be one of those. Maybe some of those academy names can stick around and get some more minutes for Graham Potter, which will be exciting. So for Havertz, is the big one for me, because he scored 2 goals against Costa Rica for Germany. Although Germany went out, that was a strong ending to the World Cup for him personally, and showed once again his ability inside the 6-yard box that we know he can produce. It's just a case of him doing it on a more consistent basis. I still firmly believe that it's not just down to positioning with Kai Havertz. I think it is down to performance, and having that performance and that knack, and performing in a more confident team obviously helps any player. It's not just Kai Havertz is not the only Chelsea player underperforming. The majority of Chelsea players have underperformed so far this season. But for him coming back, hopefully is that anger, and uses it in frustration with the World Cup, and uses it in the right way, and hopefully he can score a few goals in the coming games for Chelsea, because they're going to need it. Let's move on to the second story today. We knew this was coming for several months, as I said at the start, drawn out, but Christopher Vivell finally confirmed as Chelsea's new technical director. Vivell comes to Chelsea from a previous role with RB Leipzig in his native Germany, where he was responsible for the recruitment and scouting across all the age groups. During his time there, he also coordinated the overall strategy for squad building and recruitment among Red Bull's wider football group. Vivell previously spent 5 years with Leipzig's sister club RB Salzburg in Austria as head of scouting and recruitment, and prior to that was first team scout at Hoffenheim. Following his appointment, Vivell said Chelsea are building the most exciting project in global football, and I'm extremely proud to be joining the club. There is so much potential for the club to continue to succeed, develop and grow. Under the new ownership, Graham Potter and the broader sporting team, there is a clear and sustainable philosophy underpinned by performance analysis, data and innovation, and I am looking forward to playing a part in that. Kevin Hatchard, who's a Bundesliga expert, I've spoken to him before, and he commentates on the Bundesliga. I'm sure if you're English and you've watched Bundesliga highlights or action on TV, you've probably heard his voice, but he knows so much about it. And he tweeted just this little thread here regarding Vivell. He said he's very much a medium to long-term thinker, so his appointment further underlines the change of emphasis at Chelsea. He's keen to see young players get minutes to develop them as quickly as possible. Not only will players have to adjust to new thinking, fans will too. If Chelsea finish outside the Champions League spots this season but are making progress under Potter's methods for the long term, I suspect they'll stick with him, but supporters who've been on a diet of boom and bust will have to show patience too. And he does at this point, in terms of transfer stuff, although Chelsea have a working relationship with the Red Bull Group, Vivell's hire doesn't automatically give them an advantage in the race for Josko Vardiol, who we have been speaking about in recent weeks. Vardiol is kind of the last thing on my mind here. I think it's regarding Vivell and his potential impact, and it's funny that this appointment has been confirmed now, because actually I've been reading a book recently on the Red Bull Group, Wings of Change, and it's a very interesting book. It goes through the history, the controversy regarding Red Bull going from Salzburg to Leipzig to the New York Red Bulls, in terms of its relevance to Chelsea and what Todd Boehly's trying to build, also with the multi-club model. But this is building out that team, that structure, and the use of data and innovation. These all sound like very trendy words that most football clubs at the top level, even lower levels, want to use now. That in itself is not revolutionary, but the experience and the people that are just being brought in, I think, have the track record you would want to have in this sort of environment for Chelsea. I think they're coming from the environments and the sort of clubs that I've admired for several years, whether that be Brighton, whether that be RB Leipzig, clubs who have shown good ability to, in some unique circumstances like the Red Bull model, they have the benefit of having Salzburg and having New York Red Bulls, but showing an ability to get great value from players. And it's interesting that Hatchard brings up something that we have discussed relentlessly on this channel this year, is that changing of mindset potentially with younger players. It was pointed out on the Chelsea Spot podcast I was on, definitely go and check it out, yesterday, where if you look at the players we've actually been linked to, they've been pretty young. I think under the age of 25 is all the players I've kind of been speaking about on the channel in recent months, and that kind of shows you something, that is where Chelsea are going as a recruitment team. They are looking to buy players under the age of 25 or even younger to develop into the future, and I think that's a positive, especially in January, where the instinct may be to sign 26 to 30 year olds like we have in the past. I think Chelsea's new ownership look like they're going to try and reject that, and even if they do sign players next month, it will be sort of aligned with this vision. So excited to see. Hopefully Vivell joins the team, Paul Winstanley, Joe Shields, Lawrence Stewart. Obviously they all have different roles, and to see as well, combined with the academy announcement we saw yesterday, it's all linking together, and as I say, hopefully it's going to set up a more successful and stress-free, less chaotic 2023. Let me know your thoughts on the Fofana injury, Kai Havertz scoring a hat-trick, the preparations for the Bournemouth game next week. How are you feeling about it? I want to know that as well. And we'll be back soon. I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I will link, well, not link, but you can go on my Twitter. I've already requested questions. I'm also going to do it on my community page. So I'll do one more Q&A before Christmas and maybe some other content, because it's going to start to get busy. I'm going to go and enjoy my mince pie. Hopefully you have a great evening. Enjoy the football that's on TV once again. And I will see you again very soon. All the best.